Thank you. Thank you, Rector Wynn. And it is great to be on the grounds of the university here this morning. I want to say congratulations, first of all, to this outstanding class of 2011 here at the University of Virginia. And while I'm at it, congratulations to the great UVA men's lacrosse team on their way to the Final Four again. And also that top-ranked UVA baseball team. Go Hoos. I also want to offer my sincere thanks to President Sullivan as she begins her historic presidency here at Mr. Jefferson's University, as well as Executive Vice President Leonard Sandridge, Rector W. Wynn, all the talented members of the Board of Visitors, and of course the distinguished faculty who have once again shown their love, their support, their mentorship for the students this year. Thank you for your service to these young leaders of tomorrow. And I understand from looking through the program that there are a number who have graduated with a 4.0, and I want to say you have attained exceptional achievement. But I have to tell you, it's not that hard. I had a 4.0 one year when I was undergrad. I had a 2.0 the first semester and a 2.0 the second semester. And it wasn't that hard. I am here, as Rector Wynn said, not only as governor of Virginia, which is an immense privilege, but also as a Wahoo father who looks forward in May of 2014 to be sitting in these seats with other parents watching my twin boys walk across the stage as well. To the parents, the grandparents, the spouses, the children, and the families that are here today, I want to say thank you for your immense love and support for your graduates today. Parents, congratulations on the pay raise that you get today. This is a very special place, and you know it from your years here. Ranked the second best public university in all of America, the only university designated as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO, founded nearly 200 years ago by the second governor of Virginia, Thomas Jefferson, on land owned by the seventh governor of Virginia, James Monroe. This is a special place. It is the first university in America to offer diverse majors in things like astronomy and architecture, botany, political science. And it is the first public university to guarantee full grants to students from low-income families, and the list of accomplishments go on. Today, as you depart the grounds, I want to leave with you a few simple ideas about how to live your life. Now, let me just say this. Mercifully, no good speech needs to be long. Lincoln's Gettysburg Address, the Gettysburg Address was only 5 minutes, and my speech will not be that much longer, I assure you. I am also cognizant of my place here on the dais today. Last year, I was at Hampton University when President Obama gave the graduation speech at Hampton University. I can tell you no one at Hampton University will forget who their graduation speaker was. I'm not so naive to think that's going to be the case with you. But I think a graduation speech is a lot like a Thanksgiving dinner. It's an annual event that provides us a welcome opportunity, if even for a short while, to focus on what is unchanging, what is good, and what is worth remembering in the midst of a complicated and busy and ever-changing world. Due to the great advances in knowledge and technology, the world keeps getting more complex. But I believe that the keys to success and fulfillment have largely remained the same. The same general rules of life that led to happiness and fulfillment before the invention of the Gutenberg press are still pretty good ones to follow today, even at a time when a speech given in Charlottesville, Virginia, can be watched live on an iPad in Beijing, China. Now, we all intuitively know that these certain rules for success are correct because I believe that God has planted in the human heart a universal desire to love and be loved, to serve others, and to find purpose. Because, in fact, it was your founder, Thomas Jefferson, who said these words: God has formed us as moral agents that we may promote the happiness of those with whom he has placed us in society by acting honestly towards all, benevolently towards those who fall within our way, respecting sacredly their rights, cherishing especially their freedom of conscience as we value our own. So across the ages and cultures, the genders and races, the path to fulfillment is universal. Here's some of the steps along that path. Follow the golden rule. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. Help and serve your neighbor. Take responsibility for your actions. Make no excuses. Give back to your community generously. Live today well. Do not worry about tomorrow. Now, those are the obvious lessons that most of you learned from your parents as you were growing up. So let me add a few more that are lesser known. Always vote. Tip well. Laugh often. Never miss the opportunity to enjoy a sunset or a sunrise. And always try to follow the rules of the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts. Number one, be prepared. Number two, always try to leave the campground a little better than you found it. So to sum it up, I would tell you this: if you work hard, if you dream big, if you be honest, if you love your neighbor, if you pursue opportunity, you can still be anything you want to be in the United States of America. Now, these are all well-worn pieces of advice, but in a busy and changing world, it's sometimes easy to forget these basics. So I'll tell you through my own experience, 35 years since I sat in your seat, if you keep these very simple rules in your heart and practice them even when you are stressed and worn out and generally annoyed at the world, I can tell you that your life will go well. And I want to add to you two more ideas that I think are worth considering, ones that I try to follow as your governor. Number one, practice civility. Number two, avoid cynicism. Let me talk to you about those. I'm blessed to have a career in politics and in government. But sometimes it seems that government officials possess all of the etiquette of professional wrestlers. Somewhere along the line, we occasionally forget some things. Democrats, Republicans, office holders, journalists, activists, and others in the body politic. We sometimes forget why we do what we do. We get so invested in winning the next battle or winning the next campaign that we do not put enough focus on governing and on serving. You turn on MSNBC, Fox, CNN any day of the week, any minute of the day, which you can do now, and you'll see the ubiquitous talking heads from opposing sides screaming over one another about every little point of policy. It's no wonder that some in your generation become apathetic towards politics and government. But I say to you, it does not need to be that way. Now, as a Republican, I believe very deeply in the conservative principles of my party, and I'll fight for them. And I know that my friends in the Democratic Party believe just as strongly in their principles and will fight for them. And I would like to say, while it doesn't get a lot of coverage or attention, the fact of the matter is that there are very good people in all parties in government that are constantly trying to do the right thing. So I think we should agree as you leave here today on a couple things. One, neither political party has a monopoly on virtue or patriotism. Neither political party owns the American flag, and neither political party cares more about America than the other. It's important, I think, for Republicans, Democrats, Greens, Libertarians, Tea Partiers, whatever the new political movement might be, to remember this, that we are all incredibly fortunate to be Americans, living in the freest and most prosperous nation on earth. Now, we remember that in a profound way when we have a military victory or when our nation is attacked. But we shouldn't need a special occasion to remember our common bounds as free people in America. In fact, we should celebrate them every day. The freedom our Virginia and American founders promised in those immortal writings 235 years ago is still alive and well today in Virginia. So I say to you, cherish that, embrace it, and know that it has been preserved at the incredibly great price of American blood, of men and women in uniform. We certainly aren't going to get through the tremendous fiscal and international problems which face our nation today if we can't first agree that we're all on the same American team. So we can disagree without being disagreeable, and we can, in fact, practice civility. And that leads me to my second point, and that is, at all costs, avoid cynicism. Cynicism allows individuals to feel justified in their inaction and their disinterest, but I tell you, it affirms lethargy. It is not the American way. Trust me, I can tell you, in my profession, I know it's hard with the media coverage filled with reports of crime, corruption, and conflict. One longs for good news stories. So I ask you, graduates, 2011 today, don't perpetuate this problem. Be part of the solution. Our nation's independence was not secured by cynics. Those who landed on the beaches of Normandy on D-Day were not cynics. The mapping of the human genome by the best and brightest in America recently were not done by cynics. The men and women in Iraq and Afghanistan who fight our nation's battles today are not cynics. Cynics don't build, they tear things down. And while a good laugh, especially on late-night TV, is always welcome, no one has ever built a monument to cynicism. Graduates, I say that the future of our state, our nation, and our world depend upon your optimistic and energetic leadership in the modern world. It depends upon you believing passionately in what you're doing and not being afraid to risk all to try to make the world a better place. I think Teddy Roosevelt said it the best when he was president. Listen to his words. It is not the critic who counts. It is not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who at best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. So I see, looking out here at this crowd, there are no cold and timid souls in the class of 2011. As graduates of this great university, the university, you are prepared by this board, by this set of officers, by these faculty, to do great things. So I say to you, do them. You step off the grounds today with impeccable credentials, quick minds, innovative ideas, great training, and boundless opportunities. Consider some of the great UVA students that have gone before you. Richard Byrd, Leroy Hassell, Robert F. Kennedy, Walter Reed, Woodrow Wilson, George O'Keeffe, and yes, even Tina Fey. And now, come all of you. You walk out into a nation where the American dream is still very much alive, with a passion for truth and freedom still burn brightly. Consider your founder's words when he founded this university. He said this institution will be based upon the illimitable freedom of the human mind. For here we are not afraid to follow truth wherever it may lead. So graduates, believe that you can make your mark in society. Be a problem solver, not a complainer. Light a candle, don't curse the darkness. Use your unique, God-given talents to serve other people. Work at a Boys and Girls Club. Work at a homeless shelter. Volunteer at your local food bank. But stay involved. Democracy is not a spectator sport. The price that's been paid is far too high. And so now, as I conclude and don my hat once again as governor of Virginia, and I ask you this. I know there are many opportunities that all of you will have as graduates of the University of Virginia. But I say this, if you're going to create something, please create it in Virginia. If you're going to open a business, open that business in Virginia. If you're going to be an artist or a doctor or a lawyer, a musician, social worker, engineer, counselor, teacher, whatever it may be, thank you, social workers. Pursue your profession in Virginia. We need your talents to keep Virginia, the cradle of democracy, strong and prosperous. So congratulations, parents, grandparents, spouses, family members, and especially all of you, the great graduating class of 2011. Wahoo wah!